Dealing with debt. Now, this is an old statistics. I was supposed to refresh it, but I couldn't find the new statistics in time. Because at that time, only 16% of South Africans were debt-free. But if you look at the bottom, at that time, 33% of South Africans were drowning in debt. But what I hear now is that more than 50% of us are drowning in debt. That means more than 50% of people who are here are drowning in debt. That's what statistics is telling us about us and debt. Now, over the years, it has become much more easy to get into debt. If you are professional, there is credit cards, overdrafts, personal loans. And if you are a blue-collar worker, there is machonisa and all of those things. There's become much more easier to get into debt. But what is unfortunate about debt is that there seems to be a status in the community associated to your size of debt. The bigger the debt you have, the more powerful you are. When somebody rolls into the church driving a 2 million rand debt, people say, you see, this guy is powerful. The Lord is blessing him. He's blessing him. Look at that car. The Lord is blessing him. And we lift him up for the 2 million rand debt. How can God bless you with a 2 million rand debt? What kind of a God blesses you with debt? Instead of lifting up the fellow, we should have been calling the prayer band and say one of our members signed some papers. He's having debt on wheels that moves around for 2 million debt that can have an accident and be written off, But we have got status associated to debt. And because of the ability to get into debt, we try to impress people whom we don't even care about. You've realized that what we do, even when you've got a garage at home, but you buy a new car, but you don't park it inside the garage, you leave it in the driveway. What is the point of putting in the garage? Because you are doing for the neighbors. You are paying installment for the neighbors. And let me talk to young people. Let me talk to young people who are starting off in life. This competition among young people. What are you driving? This Polo, Vivo, these whatever things that they are having. This competition that they are having. Let me give you a simple scenario of a young person. He could afford a 2,000 rand monthly installment. If there is a car like that, I don't know. Let's say there is a car like that, which you pay 2,000 rand installment. Now, but he won't be recognized in the church, even among his friends. So what he does, he goes to pay a car which is 3.5. He pays 1,500 more. So that when he comes in, the friends can say, hey, my friend, you are driving now. Yeah, those wheels, no. So every month, he pays 1,500 for the applause of his friends. For the acknowledgement of friends and relatives, it's costing him extra 1,500, which he doesn't have. He's using credit card, he's using overdraft, and he does that, and he does that, but he can only do it for a year before it catches up with him. When it catches up with him, the car gets repossessed. Now he doesn't want to come to church anymore. Because how can he come in Texas? You see, the problem with debt and materialism is how we associate people with their cars. They say, which Mashudu? Mashudu X5. So the identity of Mashudu is X5. And when the X5 is gone, I have no identity. Now, as soon as we are no longer able to pay the debts, the trouble begins. Stress, depression, sadness sets in, And then people at home will start blaming each other. The blame game starts. You are the one who wanted this. You are the one who did this. And life becomes unpleasant and unbearable at home. And since it's not easy to get out of debt, every time we're getting a lot of demand from this one, a lot of demand from this one. Since it's not easy to get out of debt, the life at home becomes miserable. We're no longer talking. It's, did you pay that one? What did you do? What did you do with that money? And because of that, it leads to alienation. And eventually, while we are alienated from each other, you start making attachment at work. Because you are tired of talking about debts always at home. You want to just talk to somebody else who you can just talk general. While you are talking there, emotional attachment starts, leading to infidelity. And eventually, the marriage dies. And many people think the marriage was killed by infidelity. We'll talk about this later in the week. Infidelity does not kill marriage. Has no power of killing marriage. Infidelity, adultery, it's like worms. They come on a dead carcass. Every time infidelity comes in, something has died. It's either the death of the marriage or a spiritual death of a person. Adultery does not happen when there is life. When you blame the death of the marriage is on adultery, it's like blaming the death of a person on the worms. And this is why the madness, we'll talk about later on, of ladies talking to, leave my husband. Leave my husband. No, don't make yourself a fool. Leave the worms. If you spray these worms, because the body is rotten, more worms will come out. What is required is resuscitation of the dead. Resurrection is what is required. And finances, more than any other thing, kills marriages. And then the worms comes in. You see, and we'll talk about it, I think, on Friday. If a worm comes here on me now, falls on me, even if I'm not wearing a jacket, the worm does not penetrate because this body is alive. If the body is alive, the antibodies will not allow the worm to stay in. So debt is modern day slavery, a destroyer of happiness and a killer of many marriages. If there is something we are supposed to be careful of as family, if there is an enemy that is attacking families, is debt. It is attacking and destroying our families and taking our happiness. Liberate your life, your family, and your marriage from debt. Take drastic action. There is a need to kill debt before it kills your family. There is almost a need for us to have a service here at church. Maybe on a Sunday, we have a special service where we bring all our credit cards, all our cards of Edgar's, and all of those things, and have a special sacrifice, a fire to sacrifice them to the Lord. And burn them in Jesus' name. And liberate our families from all of that.